Greetings everyone and welcome to BrickCats. Today I'm reviewing 2Bricks Official's revised Obi-Wan's Delta 7 Jedi Interceptor. As always, liking this review, subscribing to my channel, or leaving a comment are all great ways to support what I do, and thank you very much in advance for your support. Without any substitutions, I was giving 3 stores and about $37 without shipping and tax, or roughly $58 with shipping and tax. In my reviews, I offer my opinions on aesthetics and model features, parts issues you might want to look out for, the build experience, the model's integrity, and last but not least, I offer my closing thoughts on the model in the conclusion. If you're watching this review, I assume you bought the instructions or are interested in buying them. I also assume a basic level of familiarity with Bricklink's ordering system and LEGO nomenclature. My disclaimer on this and all my mock reviews is that I only use genuine LEGO bricks and I always purchase the instructions. Lastly, I create these reviews for my own personal enjoyment and in the hopes that my advice will make your experience more enjoyable and or less expensive. This Delta 7 measures about 9 inches long, 4 inches wide, and just over 2 inches tall off the stand, 5¼ inches on the stand, and about 2½ inches on the included landing gear. 2Bricks redesigned his Delta 7 to take advantage of some of the newer slope and wedge pieces in the inventory, and these are great elements to use for the section of the fuselage right in front of the cockpit. Starting up front, a white tile over some jumper plates helps create the green pattern, while there's just the slightest bit of yellow poking out. Great use of the new wedge piece to start that cockpit fuselage slope, and 2Bricks also included pieces to represent the color scheme right around the windscreen, which is very well done. The cockpit windscreen unfortunately has a fairly large gap underneath it, which I'll admit is a little distracting to me. In chatting a bit with 2Bricks, he opted to prioritize shaping up the sides of the cockpit and didn't come up with a satisfying way to close this gap. That said, the bubble cockpit closes nicely over the back of the pilot's seat, and there's a control stick in there for Obi-Wan to hate flying with. I really like this slope piece that extends over the windscreen, which is a Canon detail. The rear section is very nicely shaped with the 3x3 round corner slopes, pretty much the perfect piece for this section in my opinion. The Republic sticker is specified here and on the wings. 2Bricks includes a template for custom stickers in the instructions. The wings are a nice mix of standard plate building and clever side building to get the engine exhaust vents in black. They attach with mixel joints to the hull so they're very secure while still getting the correct angle. The cannons on this white plate do stick up a bit, but to me it doesn't look bad, and the resulting white outline is also a Canon detail. I also really like the inclusion of the black section along the outer edge of the wings. Turning the model over, we can see the underside cannons right here and here. If you didn't know, the Jedi Interceptors have dual cannons, and some of the underside construction is shown along with the engines. There's not much to see here, and the plate construction means the underside mostly mirrors the top side. 2Bricks includes side builds for the landing gear, which look great, and are very stable, so putting this MOG in some kind of scene is very doable and very easy. Landing gear goes on like so, and the footer rests nicely on them. The redesign eliminated the previous version's retractable landing gear, but I don't think that will be an issue for most people. The display stand is a separate instruction set and is pretty minimalist, but holds the fighter at a nice height off your display surface. It's stable enough due to its design, but there is a slight wobble if you jiggle your display surface a little bit, but nothing that's going to cause it to fall. Like I mentioned, I didn't build version 1, but on its own merits, I think version 2 is an excellent looking model. 2Bricks' Delta 7 and the stand require 159 elements and 311 pieces. The stand is a separate parts list and instruction set available for free. You can likely modify existing stands you may already have to connect to this model just fine, but the stand is simple and only adds about $3 in pieces in my experience, usually without even adding a store. Now 2Bricks is generally very element conscious and only uses widely available elements unless there's absolutely no other choice, and this model is no exception. There are a few newer elements, in particular those slope pieces on either sides of the cockpit, so those are slightly above average on Bricklink, but they're also available from Pick-a-Brick if you choose to go that route. As a result, my recommendations and substitutions are minimal. First, I would purchase the sticker sheet for set 75333 to use for the small Republic insignias behind the cockpit and the large one on the starboard wing. This sticker sheet is very inexpensive, and while 2Bricks did make a custom sticker file, printing at home is something I feel like most people don't do anymore. plus you'd need sticker paper, which can be expensive. I included the sticker sheet in my price analysis. In order to use the large Republic insignia sticker, I removed the black 2x2 round tile, part number 14769, and replaced it with a 2x2 round tile in dark red. Cutting the sticker is not particularly difficult because it's pretty large, and the dark red blends in better with the hull. You could use a 2x2 tile in dark red as well, but 2Bricks goes over this in his video and doesn't like the square look of this tile, and I agree that it doesn't look as good as the round one. The parts list specifies the windscreen 6x4x2 bubble canopy with bar handle in trans brown. I had a trans clear one, so I just used that, but this element also looks great in the new trans black from Jedi Bob's Starfighter. Trans clear and trans brown will be less expensive, but none of the color variants are going to break the bank. I kept the windscreen as trans brown for my pricing analysis. Depending on the scene, I think you can make a case for all three of these colors being the most accurate if that's important to you. And my only true substitution recommendation, the most expensive individual piece is R4P17's head, part number 553PX4. I am a little curious why this variant is listed, as more common variants exist. The least expensive one is part number 553PB044, and I did make this substitution in my parts list. In addition to running various scenarios on Bricklink, I used the Brick Hunter extension to check the entire parts list against the pick-a-brick inventory. I do have an affiliate link that gives me a small percentage of the value you purchase, so thank you in advance if you choose to use it. Pick-a-brick orders over $35 ship for free, and if you spend more than $14 in the bestseller or standard categories, the handling fees are waived. I'll go over those results in the conclusion. Instructions for the Delta 7 model consist of 142 steps, with each part or subassembly added in each step outlined in red against a white background. This is the same for the stand, which has 25 steps. Even with a number of dark red pieces, this color scheme did not give me any problems telling which pieces were being added and where. There's also a reasonable number of pieces added in a given step, so the build goes at a nice pace, and it took me a little over an hour without any pre-sorting beforehand for the ship and the stand. I didn't have any issues with viewing angle, floating pieces, or sequencing, and for a small model from a veteran designer, this is no surprise, so this is an excellent instruction set in that regard. This model is very sturdy in general, and you can pick it up and swish it very easily. There's nothing truly delicate in the areas where you're most likely to pick it up, but mostly you'll be doing something like this. And the model will basically stand up to any hand movement you're capable of, and there's no rattling or indications of loose connections anywhere, as you'd expect. The landing gear is very easy to put on and very stable. As these bar pieces actually brace against the wing. You don't want to press down too hard on the landing gear or the connection between the engine subassembly and the hull can pop off, but that takes quite a bit of intentional force. As you can see, it's very sturdy. Now, somewhat uncommon for a 2Bricks model, I do have two stability issues worth mentioning, and the first is with the cockpit. Taking this wedge off is generally no problem, but then if you try and lift the cockpit bubble, this clip connection has more friction than this hollow stud, so this entire assembly tends to come off. I don't think this is intentional, but I guess it could be. But the issue really is that getting this back on can sometimes be annoying, just because this section here can be a little tight. So oftentimes when I'm trying to put this back, it gets caught on one of them, and it just takes a little bit of extra effort. And the second issue, with my model at least, is with the stand. So the stand connection are these two hollow studs right here. And then the angle for the stand is set by a fingered hinge. So the stand holds the model just fine under normal conditions, but I found that at least on mine, just applying the slightest pressure on the back here can cause the fingered hinge connection to give way, basically. And the model is definitely, the stand is definitely intended more for display. And it may depend on which pieces you have here. Fingered hinges can be can vary fairly widely in clutch strength depending on how old or worn they are. But if you lose the lottery, like apparently I did, your stand may be a little less robust than you expect. Luckily, the model itself is so stable that usually I don't have any pieces breaking off when it does fall. I did mention this issue to the designer, and he said he would look into modifying the stand to be more sturdy, so keep an eye out for that on the Stand's Rebreakable page. In summary, this model is very stable while swishing and sits nicely on its landing gear. Opening the cockpit will likely require some minor reassembly of that slope section, and depending on the parts library, your stand may hold up better than mine. But for casual play or display purposes, neither of these two issues should be considered deal breakers. I've built several versions of the Delta 7 by several different designers, and this model strikes a great balance between accuracy, stability, and value, as we'll see shortly. The instruction set is nearly perfect, and while I do think this is a notch below what 2Bricks normally gives us in terms of stability, that's more a commentary on how solid his other models are as opposed to focusing on this one's minor issues. Like I said in the introduction, without any substitutions, I was getting 3 stores and $37 without shipping and tax, or about $58 with shipping and tax. With my minimal substitutions, the price did go down, mostly because of that R4 head brick. And that was 3 stores and $34 without shipping and tax, or about $54 with shipping and tax. And then utilizing pick-a-brick, my pick-a-brick total was $35. This did include tax, but did not include any shipping and handling charge. I did pad my standard piece order by about $7 to meet the $14 minimum. You might as well, because otherwise you're basically just paying a handling fee for nothing when essentially meeting that minimum to put you over the shipping charge will come out neutral, so you might as well get more pieces there. The remaining elements I would be able to get from 2 Bricklink stores for just $2, or about $14 with shipping and tax, for a total of $49. Instructions for this model cost $5.50 from Rebreakable. There will be a link to where you can buy those in the description below. Thanks as always for watching my review of Obi-Wan's Delta 7 Jedi Interceptor by 2Bricks. If you've built a model, you have something to share that I left out, or have a question about something I didn't cover, please leave your thoughts below in the comments. I'm very conscious that subscribers are earned and not deserved, so if you enjoy my content and want to see more, consider subscribing, leave the video a like or a comment, or follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. Thank you, and I hope to see you back next time.